Alright everybody, so welcome to another episode of Would I Buy? It's a show where I basically try out a bunch of demos, basically give my thoughts on it, and ooh, my thing's bleeping at me, where I basically try out a bunch of demos, sort of give out my first thoughts and impressions on it, decide whether I would like to buy it, or whether I would wait for a sale on it, or basically decide that I will probably give it a miss. And then I basically just ask you guys if you've tried it as well. So I get you involved. I like you being involved. And what am I doing this time? Was it Anno Nation? Something like that. I'll be honest, I can't remember the name of the title. It's a very strange name for a game. And every time I say it, I keep thinking Ammo Nation. Or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember at the moment, but on the top of my head right now, I just think of it as Ammo Nation. And then I start thinking of Ammunition. And then I start thinking of GTA Ammunition. And I don't know. It's a very weird thing. This is not like GTA at all. I'll just point that out here. But I am really, really glad that I have tried this demo out. Because from the get-go, this is probably the type of game where I look at the screenshots and stuff like that. And I kind of just put it down to a very, very quickly put together like game where it'll be all like, it looks fancy in the screenshots and everything like that, but there'll probably be like nothing to it. And then I started playing the demo. I was wrong, because this seems like a very, very well put together game here. Like, all I can say here is that this would probably rival a lot of games out there that's some AAA games, because all I can say is that they look like they put a lot of attention to detail here, and that's probably the best way I can describe it. There was so much attention to detail. So obviously when it sort of started out, at first, I admit, first time when I loaded it up, I thought, as the game froze on me already, because it sort of had a screenshot of like a news report, and then it weren't doing anything. I saw something down in the corner, and I thought, I don't get it, as the game froze on me. Is this supposed to be a story? And no, it wasn't. But then it sort of like the story started. And it was your typical thing where it seemed like the voice acting were good, and then during the first moments of the game where you were in the room, there were a couple of sections, like, I suppose you could say a certain art style and certain scenes, them going in the shower, for example, that I kind of just get the feeling that maybe they were trying to go a bit for a sex appeal there. So then I started thinking, oh, is it one of those where it's just going to try and rely on the sex appeal and whatnot? But then when I actually started controlling the character, I thought it were all going to be like, I don't know, I thought it were all going to be just sort of a platformer. Is it an RPG but told in 2D form, like a 2.5D type game? And you don't. It isn't like that. Not completely, obviously, because when you started moving around the world, you actually had full control over the character here, and I must admit the animation of the characters I thought were really well done. So you can actually run all around the room, and then it was like your typical RPG where you pick up objects, like there's a lot of text, like you pick up your emails and text base there. So that I skipped through them. I don't worry too much a lot about learning about the entire world. I kind of just, if there's text, I quickly flick through them and then move on. I don't have the time to sit there and read every last word of it. But if you are into that kind of thing, you know, that's fine. You'll have a blast with that. You'll probably know that it'd be that kind. But then when I started playing, and one thing that I thought was a godsend straight away, which I am so glad they did, it's only such a little thing, and it's basically to have an objective pointer. It is so frustrating at times where a lot of developers just do not include that simple thing, and I know a lot of game developers try and excuse it where they just think, oh well, they want you to ask and they want to immerse yourself in the world. They want you to do. No, it just probably because they were too lazy to program it in. It's a wild guess, but because to me, if you didn't want it in, give us the option to take it out. That's all I would ask of developers, and if there are developers out there that say that, put your objective marker in, let us know what we can do. Give us hint systems in games if we're struggling. If we don't want to use them, we won't use them. We'll turn the objective marker off. Give us that choice and that freedom to do that. If we want to be that type of gamer, to turn it off and explore ourselves, we'll do that. Don't force us to do it, because it don't make it any more fun to play, because I don't have the time to do that. Anyway, sorry, that's me having a little ramble. So yeah, so basically the game had an objective marker, and that was a godsend. I like doing that. I do. I just follow it. Sometimes I get immersed into it anyway. But just knowing that were there, especially when you think like maybe, let's just say, because a casual player, you play it for a bit, you get busy with your schedule, you get busy with work, and then months later you're like, where the heck do I go? What do I do now? And this is a problem I even have with a lot of the older Final Fantasy games. It gave you a brief thing of where you need to go, and if you weren't paying attention, you're stuck. You're lost. I don't know where to go months down the line. But I'm glad it had it in. Thankfully, you don't have this problem in this. Anyway. So, obviously, when I went down into the game, you know, that you have a whole world map and an area map as well. The area map, I think it was like an apartment block, and it was sort of like a 3D model, and it looked like you could follow it. It didn't really seem to show much in terms of detail, but I don't think it needs to. But it was nice that you just had the freedom there of walking around using a local map. And then likewise, it was nice that you had the freedom of an entire world map as well. And all I can say is when you went into and started getting at, well, I walked out the apartment block and then I walked in around the world itself. There is so much life in this world, and there is so much attention to detail. And like I said, I can't believe before where I thought it was just going to be all... I thought it was just going to be all nothing but 2.5D, where it'll look sort of pretty, but it wouldn't feel immersive or anything like that. And I will say it did actually feel quite immersive into this world, and that's a good thing. You know, it had a really good atmosphere and everything. Now obviously I tried to look at the world map and tried to stray away from it. It didn't look as if you could do that. It looked like it was sort of stuck into areas, and obviously as you progress the story, it looked like it was an entire world map that you could explore, but I think it was just more specific areas that you could actually explore, because there came a point where you got in your car and then you went off to and you selected a different area of the map, which is fine. You know, I think being honest, it would have got a bit confused. That would have been a heck of a lot to put in, to have an entire world map there, and I weren't expecting that. No, at the price point of what, it was what, £20 or something like that. Obviously it's on sale at the moment, 10% off, pre-order 10% off, and so I weren't expecting a world map. It didn't, to be fair, it doesn't really need it. I quite like it that it were set in different areas as well, because it meant that they were able to put a lot more detail into each area, and each area seemed to like have a different sort of like, I don't know, it felt unique from each other. It just didn't feel like it was the same copy and paste thing but in a different area. No, each place kind of felt unique, and that were good. Obviously not all the areas were explorable in the demo, but from what I saw there, it looked like each part was sort of separate, and that were good. It was nice that they did that. The story itself, I liked the animation, I liked the voice work of the characters. They look like they put a lot of effort into the voice work. I didn't quite know yet where the story were going. I think it could be quite interesting, but I think it'd be one where you'd really have to immerse yourself with the characters and stuff like that. Like, I'll be honest, if I were to go off the demo alone, I never fully got into the characters and the story, but I'm not ready to write it off. I think it probably could get quite interesting. I mean, I think you'd have to be quite in the mood for it. I reckon it's got the potential to get quite good there and quite intriguing if you're in that frame of mind. So I'm not writing off the story. I'm not saying it's bad. I think it probably would be quite good. I think you just have to be paying attention, or maybe you just have to be in the mood for it. So no complaints over there. That's fine. And I think it would get good, and it was good with the voice acting and everything like that. And I think over time I'd probably get into it. Now, in terms of the action itself, I remember when I went into a lab, it sort of showed a bit more of those mechanics, and I really enjoyed the combat on this. When I went into it, this is where it showed a bit more. It looks like combat and action takes place more of a 2.5D platformer. So obviously you can roam in the world, that's fully roamable. When it comes to the combat and things like that, it seems to take place on a 3D platform scale. But it was really fun here. It was like, it was your normal combat where you've got your normal attack combo. You can hold down for charging up your attack, and then you've got use of a gun, which looks like it's not unlimited ammo. It looks like you have ammo clips, which it's no problem. I'm fine with that. I suppose it adds that little bit of strategy and element to it. And I think, was there a grenade? Or am I thinking of a different game there? I think there was something like that. But yeah, no, I really get into the combat on this. And I can take a wild guess that it would get quite strategic further on. Obviously, as you explore, it looks like whether you'll get experience points and level up, but it looks like you'll get skill points anyway, to an extent where, because it looks like there's a skill tree where you can basically level up certain things, which gives you that little element of control over it. Sort of like, obviously, you had to have a basic hacking skill, but then you could sort of like upgrade it to expert hacking skill, and sort of all different skills that you can invest your points into. And I kind of like that. I'm hoping that there is a steady progression on that. I can presume that it's going to be one of those games where it's going to be quite fun, and this was a problem that I had with the other game, the Dio Field Chronicle, where there was going to be a bit of a grind in that one, but I kind of get the feeling from this that it's not going to be such a big grind, because with it being a 2.5D, it would get very, very repetitive if you're spending absolutely ages trying to attack a single enemy. And this is an example of, I don't mind grinding for more or anything, or working a lot more to build up on my skills, so long as you get that constant sense of progression. And I get the feeling that I'm going to get that from this game. The game itself, or should I say the demo itself, maybe only took me about 40 odd minutes, and I was very immersed into this world. I was really impressed with this. The music, off the top of my head now, it weren't the most memorable, but I think it suited the environment very well, and I liked that. It was good, it was fitted. What do we say? On top of checking out the menus, it looked as if you had an option, or it looked like there were side quests, multiple side quests. Well, there was something like 23 side quests in one area, which I would then presume that you go to a different area that would have also its own set amount of side quests as well. And I kind of liked that. I loved how it had, I know it's all simple little things that all sort of make the experience better, but because it had a side quest progression bar, that to me, it kind of gave me an incentive to want, like if I were to play the full game, it would give me the incentive to want to do all those side quests, because then if it will all lead toward progression, I could find myself getting really lost into this world for quite some time. So all I can say is that, yeah, I really did actually enjoy this demo. And it was so surprising because I looked at the picture when it started. When I saw it, I just thought, oh, well, it's going to be nothing there. It's going to be one that's just asking for so much money, and it's going to give very little back. Say I've seen where it's all... Well, some of these indie games where, I don't know, they feel unfinished, I suppose you could say. They're very unpolished, but I can't believe that this one's actually going for £20. I'll be honest, I thought I were really impressed with this. And yeah, I would say, if I were to buy it, I'd buy this in a heartbeat. I thought it's a really good asking price for that. In fact, I would say this could rival some other AAA games that are asking for a lot more as well. No, I really enjoyed this one, I'll be honest. So I think I would easily buy this game. And if you haven't tried it, I would say, if you are into your stuff like your cyberpunk, or even if you're not, I would say at least, if you're into your RPGs or anything like that, I would say at least give the demo a try and see what you think of it. But obviously that is just my opinion. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Have you tried the demo? Would you try the demo? Would you buy it? Would you wait for it? Is it something that didn't actually quite grip you? Is it something that actually you realise you're not that bothered about? And obviously, as always, no response. I will leave it at that. So until the next one, I will see you guys later.
Ryan is searching for N542? What did he find?
Weird. Why did Ryan leave this room?
It's heavily damaged.
Oh, I know a ROM shop downtown that can fix it.
Okay, let's go there.
You already opened the door? Excellent. Saves us a ton of trouble. I guess you know where Ryan is too, right? You're the one, huh? my buddies entertain you. No place to run! Dash punch! Useless piece of garbage. She's pretty good. I'd like to